I made enough money in 2021 to become a fake guru, so I want you to let me know if I should start selling courses on making 25,000% returns in crypto. Just kidding. You will see my YouTube analytics, all of my investments outside of YouTube, as well as some big plans for 2022. We're going to be taking down a lot of fake gurus. Hope you enjoyed this video. What a year it's been. 36.7 million views on the channel as a whole, 4.6 million watch hours, 266,000 subscribers gained in the year 2021. I started the year at about 108,000, so we're almost at 375,000 now, but 266,000 in a single year is great because that momentum could lead to 1 million subscribers in 2022. Estimated revenue is right there on the screen, but we'll get to that in just a second. Little reminder for those of you who want to create content and do YouTube is this section right here, the top videos of the year of 2021. If you look at the dates, you'll see that some of them were actually produced in 2020. This is just a good reminder that if you put out good content and you just keep with the program, keep putting out year after year, some of your old videos will still rack up views. This video, Why Your Favorite Musicians Are Broke, was released in July 2020 and had over 500,000 views this year alone. There's still plenty of videos that I made in 2020 that are still racking up views today. Good thing to keep in mind. All right, let's head over to the reach. 587 million impressions, 500 million. That's such a massive number that 587 million people had the opportunity to click on one of my videos. 4.3% click-through rate. This is how many people click on a video when it's presented to them. 4.3% out of 100, obviously. And here's some interesting numbers. 64% of my videos are clicked from the browse feature, 20% from suggested. Engagement tab, 7.5 minutes average watch time. This is something I value very highly. I care very much about people's attention and their engagement with my content. It's usually a good sign that you're making good content if you can keep people engaged. There's some really good data in here for the analytics. I'm kind of scrolling through in case any of you might want to pause the screen and just see. Some of it's not that interesting, but if you want to see, pause the screen and you'll be able to see all the data I present to you. Here's an interesting section where you can see what other videos and what other channels that my audience watches. You'll probably recognize some of those channels right there. I'll scroll through those for those of you who enjoy seeing this. Some interesting channels. Here's the most important tab, the revenue tab, $277,000 for the year 2021. This number is a little misleading in the sense that most of this revenue actually came from the back half and about 102,000 came from the last 2 months. So with YouTube, you're going to have waves up and down. Q1 is going to be a huge drop. So unfortunately, I won't be able to make what I'm making the past 4 months in Q1. But Q3, Q4, it starts ramping up and you start making quite a bit of money. Great year altogether, 756 RPM. This is how much actually comes into my pocket per 1,000 views. And then the CPM is what advertisers pay per 1,000 views. So almost 16. Pretty solid. Now the fun part, this will be what I have going on outside of YouTube as well as my goals for 2022. On YouTube, I'd love to hit 1 million subscribers and receive that gold plaque. It would be an increase of 630,000 subscribers from where I started. About 70 million channel views is the number I'd need to hit. It's a reasonable goal, but a number I need to hit in order to hit around 500,000 of income just from Adsense. I do want to do more collaborations with big influencers. Now that my channel's growing, I think there are going to be opportunities that open up, and I'd love to start networking with really big influencers if the opportunities present themselves to me. I want to become verified on Instagram. Unfortunately, with what's recently happened with my account getting attacked and constantly getting disabled, I feel like I have to get verified just to maintain my Instagram because it's become actually really important for YouTube. Because of all the people that reach out to me and all the conversations I have, all the connections I make, I need Instagram. I can't have it down. Therefore, I might have to go the path of doing the press releases and pay for all that bogus stuff in order to get verified. And then lastly, I'd love to land a date with a hot influencer because of YouTube. That's been my goal. It still hasn't happened yet, but I still haven't gotten a single date from YouTube, surprisingly. But if I can land a date with a hot influencer, that would make my year. Real estate is a big part of my life, and I'm going to continue buying properties. I am closing on my next one this week, which would give me 3, and then I'd want to buy an additional 3 throughout the year, which would lead to a portfolio of 6 properties. At the end of the year, I think it is reasonable to attain a $25,000 a month gross rental income. If I were to hit 6 properties, I'd be somewhere in the ballpark of $3,000 a month equity being built from the principal pay down of the mortgage, and around $5,000 a month in appreciation on a $3 million portfolio at 2%. That's just a vague number because no one really knows. But if I have a portfolio between 3 and 3.5 million, then the appreciation number of 5K a month was probably be pretty accurate. And again, that would be market value, not equity. I'd have around 20% equity. And then most importantly, I want a clearly defined system in place for house hacking. That is, I know exactly what properties to buy. I know exactly what furniture to buy, how to design the house, how to decorate it, and set it up such that within 3 weeks of buying the place, it would be furnished and have all tenants in place so that by that second month, I'm already fully running. As a real estate agent, I represent myself on the deals I buy. So if I'm able to buy 4 properties throughout the year, I'll be somewhere in the ballpark of $55,000 on commissions from the personal deals of mine. I am a referral agent, so anyone who wants to buy in Las Vegas, I refer them to my broker who does a way better job than I ever would and has a lot more time to dedicate to helping people. And so I refer him deals. I would love to have 5 houses close from the referrals, which would lead to around $50,000 in referral commission. I think that number is entirely possible. I have e-commerce stores. So right now I have 3 stores currently, 2 Amazon, 1 Facebook. One of the providers, if he is able to get the Walmart operation up and running, he will provide us with a Walmart store as well. So that would be 4 stores by the end of the year, ideally. Currently have 3. If I add a Walmart, that'd be 4. I'd love to hit $100,000 in gross sales for 1 month by the end of 2022. Given that Q4 is a lot higher in sales than other months, I anticipate the highest likelihood being at the end of the year. But it would be super dope to have a 6-figure month, and that's gross sales, not net. Tight margin business, so that it's definitely not net. If the stores take off, I will start promoting them more, the providers that I use. If I were to have a store take off and promote it and people were to buy, let's say 10 affiliate referrals would be somewhere in the ballpark of $20,000 to $30,000 in commissions. That would be nice to attain. I added a necessary down here for those of you interested. You need at least like $10,000 for Facebook, $20,000 to $40,000 for Amazon, and at least $15,000 or more in business credit card availability. That is important to have. And the most important part, you do not need the money. This is an investment that could take a long time to return. It is not one in which you want to put money in and then need the money right away. Do not do that. If you're interested in this, please make sure it's money that is just sitting in a bank and you want to put it to use. Auto business is something I haven't really started yet. My Tesla got hit about 6 or 7 weeks ago. It's still in the shop. And once I get it back, I would love to put it on Turo. The key is finding a manager to manage Turo. I do not want to spend a single minute on Turo, but if I can find someone that I trust and someone that I like, then I can see myself putting my Tesla on Turo as well as doing more cars. If that were to work out, I could see myself buying up to maybe 5 cars throughout the year to put on Turo. I thought a reasonable number somewhere in $6,000 to $8,000 month gross income by the end of the year. Fully outsourced is the key. I do not want to spend any time dealing with Turo and dealing with anything that comes with anything car related. But if I can find someone to outsource, that would be ideal. And then here's the huge breaking news, something that is like a half-assed thought that I haven't really put too much thought in and I know nothing about, but I would love to launch my own product. I love ice cream. It's like my one vice. It is the one that I could eat ice cream twice a day. I purposely don't because I can get so addicted and binge, but I think it'd be super dope to create a really fun product. And I thought, what better way? I love ice cream to make like some really cool ice cream product. I'm just looking at these names like Pump and Dump Peanut Butter, Fake Guru Chocolate. They'd be really on brand. They'd be about the YouTube videos, Mint My Chocolate Chip NFT, Rocky Tax Returns, Cookies and Fraud, White Boy Chocolate. These are all just ideas. And so I've thrown the idea to a kind of a partner of mine, someone who starts businesses, and we're looking into it. Again, this is something that might not ever happen, but I think it would be really cool. And it's one of those like daydream thoughts. So it was something that I'd throw out into the world that maybe, just maybe by the end of the year, maybe I could like start the process of creating my own product. I have a really big audience on YouTube and I get a lot of attention in the sense that I get 5 million or more views a month, which is actually really high. That's very few channels don't receive that many views. With that, I would just love to create a product because I'm not monetizing my channel as well as other people. And so I thought it'd be cool to create your own product and just document the journey. And if it fails, it fails. If it succeeds, well, that'd be super dope. And one last thing, thank you for all the emails and DMs on Instagram. I read them all. This channel is absolutely not successful without everyone helping out. Like, they're not my employees, but all of you who reach out and help me and converse with me about certain topics, huge thank you because this channel is nothing without you guys. All right, let's get to the spreadsheet. Time to see my income and expenses. Let's start with YouTube AdSense, $277,000, $38,000 in expenses. Almost all of that is to my lawyer from the lawsuit I'm facing. If that lawsuit were to get dismissed, all that money would come back. So this money's been spent, but it also could come back to me, hopefully. I also invested in an agency. A guy runs an agency. He's been running TikTok and Instagram. We're going to see if we can grow those accounts. I'd love to start in 2022. I'd love to build up all brands to just kind of become a bigger brand on social media at large, not just on YouTube. And so I'm excited about that. Patreon, almost 3,000. Batch Driven and Batch Leads are affiliates for a real estate product called Batch. It's a really great software product. And I've mentioned it in a few videos. And so throughout the year, I've made, what's that, about $1,600 total. Now into real estate, House Hack 1 and House Hack 2. House Hack 2 is the one I live in. I bought it at the end of July. And so the income you see is about half of what it should be for the year. This year, between those two, I should be about $100,000, $105,000 in gross income. The reason why you see really high expenses is because I bought a lot of furniture for the second house and got it up and running. And then the first house, I had a lot of maintenance and capital expenditures. I also had a fire damage. And so I threw all those expenses in that number that you see. Unfortunately, sometimes with real estate, you need to invest in a property to make it nicer, to make it more appealing. And that's what I did. It was a deal that didn't turn out amazing. I've talked about it ad nauseum, but essentially I spent a lot of money on that property that I think will pay off really well long term. But this year I had to spend a lot to make that happen. The house hack equity, this is from the principal pay down from the mortgage. And then as a real estate agent, I had one deal myself that I bought and then 2 referrals. So that led to almost $16,000 in income. There are some expenses associated. And then appreciation is not a number I include because it is not income. You can't see the appreciation until you sell. But I do want to mention it for those of you who are interested in real estate. Something to keep in mind is appreciation that's kind of how you make your money long term. You buy a good house in a good area within a good city, the property is going to increase its value over time. This year, I would estimate, and this is based on like comps and market rate, I think I gained $50,000 in both properties alone. Moving on to e-commerce, the first store, I don't know the income and expenses exactly. So with Amazon, you don't want to log into the same IP address into 2 different stores. With me having 2 different stores, I want to be careful. It could lock you out. There's actually risks with that. So I didn't log in. It's a really slow store. Again, these are long-term investments. My second store was Walmart. That got terminated back to Amazon. And so on Walmart, it had like $18,000 worth of sales with quite a bit of expenses. That's cost of goods sold and all the other stuff that comes with e-com. Facebook Automation Store is off and running. This one's doing really well. Based on the cost, which was about 25% of the other stores, I would say this one's been the most successful thus far. And then Cashback Rewards is just an estimated guess, 2% of rough sales volume, which is around $400. And then lastly, the car rental. I had a lot of expenses because I'm including the wrap that I got on the car, and I got the windows tinted, which is about $4,000 of that, and I got chargers and all this other stuff. It's all expenses. The reason why I got the Tesla was for Turo, so that's why I'm including it here. It's not really like an up and running business now, but it is expenses incurred, and I should be able to put the car on Turo at the start of 2022. And for the grand finale, big numbers, $395,000 of gross income in the year 2021. Against $197,000 of expenses for a net income of just under $200,000. Now, if you include the appreciation, which again, you don't, all you CPAs out there are like, oh my God, no, you don't include that in income. You don't. But it is cool to see that if you were to include the appreciation, I'd be somewhere around $500,000 for the year. This was a massive year. I'm thrown off because last year I was working a job before COVID hit, and then here I am all of a sudden YouTube taking off, and then real estate, and before you know it, you're bringing in $400,000 in a year. So I can't thank everyone enough. It's been a group effort for sure. I'm just one man, but I require I rely on everyone who helps me out, and so I can't thank you enough. It's been a big year, and here's to an awesome 2022. Thanks for watching.